Good morning to all the people that are going to hear this. This is a continuation of the Magic 12. It's just a little thing that I decided to do that I think is pretty cool. But before we get started, I'd like to uh, mention something that I find that's really, really fascinating. And that is, I don't know if you are a religious person or not, or familiar with Jesus or not, but something that I found interesting was that Jesus had 12 disciples. And with those 12 disciples, they changed the entire world. And that's why I like to think about the Magic 12. Now, there's something else that I find interesting about what I call the Magic 12 is that if you've ever been in any kind of a big business at all, most big businesses have what's called a board of directors. And most companies that are any size at all, larger companies, it's interesting to me that they always have 12 directors on the board of directors. Now, if you go on and you think about this, like with the business, my idea is that if you literally get 12 disciples or 12 people within your business, and you train those 12 people, to get the business to grow or do whatever it is that needs to be done, you too can change the world. And so I just really find it's really fascinating. Now, how true is that? Who knows? I don't know. Probably a lot of other people don't know anyway. Anyway, to go back to reading where we left off, I'll say on page 6 here, in reference to forward to our goals, and then they have the printout of reaching goals, and it's literally when I say print or reach, it's done in a way that it takes the word reaching and the word goals and then assigns different things to it. As an example, R stands for reaching for today's opportunities. E is for exercising your rights to succeed. A is awareness of your real potential. C is courage. Of course, courage to do what needs to be done. H, how to jump over hurdles. And I'm sure we've all been down that road. There's always hurdles that seem to be in our way or seem to stop us from doing what we want to do. And what's necessary for us is to learn how to get over those hurdles. I is for improvement. N is for nourishment for your self-image. And a self-image is extremely important. You do have to be able to see yourself in the position of being able to do that which you want to do. It's that simple. G is for going forward, and then we jump down to GOALS. And in this case, G stands for getting places. O stands for observant day. A stands for anticipation. L stands for learning how. And S stands for seeing yourself successful. So, in reference to all that, we're going to go back and continue where we left off. So where we left off, we're starting with number 1, reaching for today's opportunities. So I'm going to, like I say before, if you see me looking down, it's simply because I'm reading from the book. And I may occasionally stop to make ad libs to whatever I'm doing. Okay, reaching for today's opportunities. You forget yesterday's blunders. You stop worrying about the past. Today is the day, and you reach out towards today's opportunities. Uh, my interjection is being aware of those opportunities when they confront you and knowing what to do with them. Continue reading. We are all fragile, sensitive human beings. We are more easily hurt by our failures and by the way others react to us than we like to admit. Still, the business of life is in the present. Amen. Opportunity exists for us in the present, and we must reach out to grasp them as eagerly as a baby clutches for its mother, or a football tackle takes out after the ball carrier. Every day is a challenge to you, and you respond to this challenge with the best that is in you. You reach out toward the world, setting your goals, deliberating their limits, choosing your methods of moving towards them, then taking action. These goals of the day, these opportunities of the day, make a habit of reaching out toward them. Do not surrender this excitement of reaching out toward opportunities to overcome negative feelings. Negative feelings, no goal. Same thing. You render yourself stationary. You have not broken a leg, yet you place your leg in a cast and you cannot move. Give yourself a sense of direction and crystallize your opportunities. Move toward your destination instead of languishing on a merry-go-round. A goal implies desire. And when you feel this desire acutely enough and you give yourself an atomic power that will help propel yourself toward the opportunities that the day brings. You insist on fulfilling yourself. You will not take no for an answer. Now, this is the first part of that segment. And in that first segment, he does emphasize a lot of important things that we have to take into consideration. Setting our goals, deciding what we're going to do, having the desire to do it. All those that I've just mentioned are really, really, really important. It's said that the most important part of this is desire. The desire is the motivational aspect of which is going to get you to move in the direction you want to go. Like myself, as an example, I set goals and then they fail. And one of the reasons they may fail is because the desire is not great enough to continue through with the goal. The other thing is that when looking at your goals and your opportunities, you have to also be in the mindset of being able to recognize an opportunity when that opportunity presents itself to you. A lot of us, including myself, have opportunities presented to us, but we have excuses for not doing it. And that all gets back to the reality of trying to uh, change, uh, change the way you think. I once heard someone say, and I don't know who, but they said, in order to change, you have to get change under your skin. In order to get it under your skin, you have to have a very powerful desire to want to change. Anyway, back to reading. Number 2, exercise your right to succeed. Perhaps you cried when you were ushered into this huge world of ours, but crying will do you no good now. You must do more than set goals. You must cultivate in yourself the determination to reach them and the feeling that you have a right to success. Uh, that's something that I like to think about a lot. I think a lot of us may have this feeling that you do not have a right to success. We've been programmed to think that we shouldn't be successful, that we shouldn't try to be successful. And what they're saying here, and I totally 100% agree with, is that you have a right to be successful. You have a right to succeed. And it's your duty to succeed if your desire points you in that direction. So anyway, back to the book. How do you exercise this right? First, you realize that you must instill this feeling in yourself. The feeling that you are worthy of success, that you deserve the good things. And those are whatever things that you decide you want. Second, you should build belief in yourself. And as you do this, you reactivate the success mechanism, the servo mechanism that's within you. This implies that your eyes are open to opportunities that arise because you want to see them and reach them without stepping on other people's toes, but also without tripping over your own toes. Opportunity knocks, but are you listening? Are you deaf to opportunity? Deaf because you cannot exercise your right to succeed because fear holds you in a paralysis. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. How many times can I tell you I've been down that road before? It's amazing how your paradigm, that's the part of your brain that controls your habitual movements of each day, how it controls you. And the beauty of this is that we don't need to let that happen. We can control it. We can give it the directions as to what we want to accomplish. But of course, we need to learn how to do that. Back to the book. You must learn to free your senses. You must learn to see and hear and smell opportunity. You must exercise your right to succeed. This involves no running around the block, no bicycling or tennis playing, no push ups. It is not that kind of exercise. Amen. It's a whole different kind of concept. But just as physical exercise can be most stimulating for you if you like it and are in condition for it, so can this exercise of your right to succeed. In other words, I believe, in reference to what they're saying here, is a lot of us can and do have exercise programs, get on them, and they're very helpful. And we do that by choice. And the beauty of this is we can do the same thing by choice to succeed. Too many people, back to the book, too many people fail because they feel they should fail. Programming. Too many people fail because they do not believe they have the right to succeed. Again, I would say programming. They have the right to succeed. Too many people defeat themselves. And again, programming. We're programmed that way. And whether we like it or not, that programming started the day we were born. And the most important factor in all of this is we can take control and change it. Don't do this. Reach out toward your goals directly. If you feel you are reaching out for an apple on someone else's apple tree, you will feel like a robber. But this is your apple tree. Give yourself your just rights. Number 3, awareness of your real potential. You must make yourself aware of your inner strengths and of your inner basic identity, of what you have done in the past and what you might do in the present and the future. This is strengthening this awareness, this reawakening, this regenerating of the forces within you. And you do have the power to do that, trust me. Let me tell you a story. Again, reading the book. In a way, it's about my father and my relationship to my father, whom I love very dearly. I will tell you about him later on, about his old world ways of dressing fashionably and in the inspiration which it gave him to help people in our neighborhood on New York City's Lower East Side, and about his tragic death, but that will come later. Anyway, I was at Naples Airport waiting for the London plane one day many years ago, looking around me at the other passengers. I saw a small, stocky man. He was dressed rather formatively in old-fashioned clothes. He was very neat-looking. He had dark eyes, black hair, and a broad face with a beaked nose. He fascinated me. Where I had seen him before, I wondered, or had I seen him before? On the plane, we found ourselves seated across the aisle from each other, so I further occasion to observe him. There was no question about it. He reminded me of someone, but who? I lectured in London, then went on to New York, back to my practice and to a heavy, demanding workload that had accumulated in my absence. One day, tired after a number of tough days, I sat down and glanced at a picture of my father on my side table. I began to thinking of him, of his life, and of the sudden tragedy that had taken his life. I brought the past back into my mind. I felt very close to him again. Enough of thinking. I went to my final appointment for the day. When I saw the man waiting for me, I was astonished. It was a short, stocky, old-fashioned man I'd noticed so curiously on the plane. He pointed to his ears and nose. They might be improved, he said, and this could help him in his business. He had asked people on the plane who I was, he said. Somehow he had felt a bond of sympathy between us, and he had decided he wanted me to perform this operation. Again, Dr. Maltz was a doctor. He worked on people's appearances. I operated him soon after, in the morning and that evening, dropped by to visit him. While his face was envemished in bandages, it became a habit. Each day I dropped by to talk to him since our talks were so pleasant. Then we took off the bandages and surprise swept over me once again, staring at his new nose, new ears, and the mustache he had grown while convalescing. I knew why he had so intrigued me. I thought, come back to life almost, my father. The resemblance was almost unbelievable. Aren't you from Australia? I asked him. Yes. Would you tell me your business? I'm a fabric designer. I knew a fabric designer once, I said, and I could see my father in his neat, formal, old-fashioned clothes. He came from Australia, too. And in a flash, the past and present seemed to come together. I felt myself come again a young man in his early 20s, but with one enormous difference. Now I felt more than ever before how much I had loved my father, how much I had missed him, and how much I would always be in his debt as long as I lived. And in this awareness, this new awakening, this new regeneration of myself, I felt, excuse me, I felt a new potential in myself. And I felt that I could reach out toward new frontiers in my life. I felt that I could cross old borders and venture forward into life with a new struggle. Toward new goals, reaching out toward these goals with stronger arms. And so you can, when you put together the most positive force in your life, the most positive forces in you, realizing your true potential, developing it so that you can move forward towards your goals. Very, very interesting. All right, I'm just going to continue at this point. I apologize for my coughing, but that can't be helped. Number 4, courage. You must have courage or you will never set out after goals. Or suppose you fail, what then? And the answer comes back. If you fail, you must fortify yourself with the courage to take it on the chin and bounce back again into the ring, readily to lug it out. In a very real sense, life is a series of calculated risk. To survive with satisfaction, you must have courage. Amen to that one. You must be courageous enough to surmount your feelings of uncertainty and to plunge forward after your goals. Courage means talking over your hopes and your problems with friends who will be willing to share their courage with you. It means coming out of yourself to give yourself courage to others. It means a concentrated capacity to start all over again when everything else goes wrong. It means realizing that you must do more than recognize your strengths. You must also come to peace with your weakness. It means moving toward your goals in spite of the obstacles that may rear up in front of you. Sure, you are weak and fragile, and sometimes you are only a human being. But it but at other times you are the rock of Gibraltar. You are determined. You will not give up easily. Courage means that a feeling of expectancy urges you on. You are an explorer seeking an uncharted side of yourself. Your hope is not passive. Your kinetic force urges you on. Fascinating. It doesn't take guts. And I almost would like to say it really doesn't take courage. What it takes is a desire to do what you want to do and then go do it. But in order to do that, we have to change the paradigm. Number five, excuse me. How to jump hurdles. Setting goals is not enough. Moving toward them is not enough. Your progress toward your goals will seldom be smooth. Golf is not the only game with sand traps to overcome. To achieve your goals, you will have to fight your way out of your sand traps and then jump your hurdles too. Let me tell you another story about a hurdle jumper. He was a hurdle jumper in college, a magnificent athlete, and he won many medals. His friends admired his athletic ability and often offered him a job as a salesman for his insurance company. He accepted the job and he held it, but never did really well as an insurance salesman. Likeable with many friends, married with a son, he could not seem to unleash the drive in him as a hurdle jumper into selling insurance. He feared his imperfections as a salesman, and potential customers discouraged him too easily. In college, he overcame his own imperfections to become a great hurdler through tenacity and willpower. He forgot to use the same approach to overcoming hurdles and selling insurance. He met his college classmates again at a reunion, and they urged him to try jumping hurdles to see if he could still do it. With a drink or so in him, he borrowed some sneakers and gave it a try. Result, he broke his leg. The leg was in a cast for a month, and during this period, he took stock of himself. Why had he tried jumping the hurdle again when he was too old and out of practice? He asked himself, and he recalled how he had overcome his mistakes when he was an expert hurdler with sense of direction, practice, yes, practice, and more practice. Why then could he jump the hurdle of living, jump the hurdle of selling insurance? Why couldn't he be a winner at all that too? When the cast was removed from his leg, he applied himself to selling insurance in the same approach he had used as an athlete. Practice and more practice and repetition. In his mind, he figured out the hurdles he would have to jump, how to tackle the customer, how to deal with his objections, And with this new approach, he shortly became a winner as an insurance salesman. You too, you must do more than set your goals. You must anticipate the hurdles and learn how to overcome them. And I might add, gain the knowledge that is required for you to learn in order to jump those hurdles. Number 6, improvement. Reaching out toward goals implies a great desire for improvement. You want to better yourself. You want to be strengthened. You want to be strengthening your self-image. You want new horizons for yourself. You want to give your life full meaning. You can do that with self-image. That's very, very important. You keep trying to use your imagination, creativity, in pursuit of the improvement you seek as you reach out toward your goals. Perhaps you feel anxiety, but you do not let anxiety defeat you. On the contrary, you use your anxiety, productivity. It keeps you moving forward toward your objectives. Improvement means clear, rational thinking, channelizing into creative performance directed at goal achievement. You wake up in the morning and you set a goal for that day. Improvement, a good start. Number 7, nourishment for your self-image. Ooh, I think that could be the biggest of them all. Because self-image is something that, how should I say, is not partly your fault. It's just there. It just is. Because that's the way you grew up. That's what made you who you are from your past that was fed into your mind. But if you don't like it, if you want to change it, you can. To the book again. 7, nourishment for your self-image. In your daily resolve to improve yourself, you find vitamins to fortify your self-image. This will be a good day. Your self-image will flourish today. In setting goals for yourself, you feed your self-image. You give it a framework in which to function. You give it body and substance. You yearn to get to the better side of yourself, to the confident, compassionate, responsible person you sometimes are. You eagerly seek out opportunities for self-fulfillment, not dead ends which will leave you frustrated. When external pressures mount, you bring up internal strength to meet them, seeing in your mind your past successes. Important note here from my point of view. When you have a success, when you have succeeded at doing something, it may be wise to write it down. Write down your success. Read it several times over a few weeks so that you can have it in your mind's eye, the success that you had. Back to reading. You devote your day to giving nourishment to your self-image. Then when you hit the pillow at night, you recall how during the day you gave your self-image a boost. Recall this pleasantly, and changes or you will have a little trouble getting a good night's sleep. Number 8, going forward. Whether you like it or not, life is a movement and you must keep peace. You cannot live in your yesterdays when you felt sheltered and safe. Without distorting your reality perception, perhaps your childhood is confronting to think about. Perhaps then you felt there was little to fear, but you can't really recapture it, not to live it again anyway. So you must go forward out into the world as you are. You grow because you refuse to go into hiding. You tell yourself you're not a criminal, and we're not. As you keep going forward, and you may find yourself groping and grumbling or grumbling. That's the way things often are. Hopefully, your grumbling is wise and creative. You are not playing cards or the stock market. You are gambling on yourself. You are gambling with the blue chips inside you, your confidence, your desire, and your self-respect. Each day, you keep moving forward toward your goals. Each day, you move forward, trying to minimize life's gambles as you can. Call on your inner resources to move you forward toward your goals. On the stock market, stocks may go up and down, but your blue chips can help you soar to new heights. You have wings, yes, wings, the wings of confidence that you can propel you to your goal. Next stop, happiness. And why should you stop yourself if you want to fly? Number 9, getting places. Setting goals, moving to achieve them, we find we are getting places. We refuse to sabotage ourselves with ego destructive criticisms of our failures. What good is such destructive self multiplications? Instead, we keep getting places. We keep reminding ourselves where we have been. Stop whirling around in the meaningless circles and insist on getting places toward worthwhile goals. So much in life is a product of determination, setting goals. In the field of the novel, for example, we have Theodore Dreiser, author of The American Tragedy, the Copperwood series, Sister Carrie, and so on. Now, Dreiser was an amazing phenomenon, a great novelist, one of the giants in the history of American novels, and yet even in the opinion of his most ardent admirers, he was an awkward, rambling writer who has given us few stylistic delights. Instead, indeed, his itinerary critics eyed him with something like horror. His writing was sometimes of such poor quality that they found it painful to rank him with the giants. Yet they did. Why? Why? Because Theodore Dreiser was a writer of passion. He launched himself upon his writing. He insisted upon getting places with it. He loved to write. He could not live without writing. He started writing and he could not stop. He wrote with his heart. He put everything he had and everything he knew into his novels. And one might say that Dreiser, in his passion, in his enthusiasm for his goal, the creator of a novel, smashed forward to his goal. He would not take no for an answer. He would not let critics discourage him. And he even won some of the critics over to his side. For reluctantly, through continually to criticize his awkward rambling phrasing, they nevertheless ranked him with the best because they could not miss the breadth of his sincerity. They could not miss his passion for the feel of life breath onto his pages, and they could not help but admire his enthusiasm for his characters and for their interactions and for the world which so fascinated him, with which he fascinated the world. And so, clumsily, unevenly, Theodore Dresser got places because this is what he insisted upon. Inspect, imperfect, he moved toward his goals and succeeded. He had desire. And in that desire was the one goal that should be important to all of us. Excuse me. He was not going to quit. And he didn't quit. And he didn't care what other people thought. That's a big block. That's a big stumbling block, probably for a lot of us. And it's difficult to come to a point where you just don't really care anymore what people think. When you wake up and realize that it's your life, not theirs, and it's your desires, not theirs, and it's your wants, not theirs, and you need to live your life without worry about what they think. Number 10, Observation Day. Each year we have many days which we celebrate. We have Mother's Day, Father's Day, and so on. Now, I suppose a new day, Observance Day. Observance Day, observance of what? Observance of your self-image. You know, I like that. I really do. Because self-image is the biggest, in my mind, the biggest stumbling block to success. Anyway, to read on. And on second thought, let me rename my day. Suppose we called it Self-Image Day. This is your day. This is your big day. For on this day, you pull your name off the losers list and you tack it up to the winners list. A great day, champagne, flowers, and there is dancing in the streets. Don't bother to buy yourself a present. The only present you give yourself is a roundabout discussion with your self-image. And then you can observe the anniversary of the first self-image day, but that will come later. On this day, you are a friend to yourself. If you live in a cold water flat 6 stories up in a walk-up, you still feel like a king. And as you stagger breathlessly up the stairs, you are on your way to your castle. For it is Self-Image Day, and you are the king. It is a great day, Self-Image Day. No confetti, no parades, no announcements on television. You feel great. And what you do feel so great about yourself. That's quite a goal to achieve in one day. And I might say, amen to that. Number 11, anticipation. Creative anticipation incorporates effort, and effort means trying. And remember this, when you try, you are almost there. You anticipate your arrival because you are in motion and you come closer and closer to your destination as you move. With anticipation, you move toward your objective and you move along the main highway. No abandoned road for you and no dead end. You anticipate the achievement of your goals. You are cautious as you move because you refuse to be foolhardily and make needless mistakes. Therefore, you stop at red lights and wait. But when you get the green light, you accelerate. You drive forward. You surge forward. You launch yourself forward. Even now, though you drive safely, no foolish accidents for you. You ensure your safety with clear thinking, with constant reappraisals of your strategies, with one continual reinforcement of your self image. As long as you have the gift of life, you anticipate. As long as you are able to breathe, you anticipate. And why shouldn't you? God made you to live and to have rights. Number 12, learning how. You must learn how to move forward your goals, how to live with your goals, how to accept failure, and how to live with the success and achievements. Goal orientation takes know-how, and it takes a lot of learning how. You must learn what to do to get to your goals. You must also learn what not to do. Watch a top ballerina, precision, no waste motion, brilliant performance, and that is her goal. You learn how to move toward your goals when you negotiate with your fears and bring about the retreat of negative feelings. Constantly, you seek to learn how to make the most of your assets, how to strengthen your self image, how to march through the desert of negative feelings to friction. Naturally, as you take out after your goals, you try not to get into a too vulnerable position, but still you must often take your chances in this world, and you know this. Number 13, seeing yourself successful. If you set realistic and worthwhile goals and then move toward them fearfully, chances are that you will go nowhere. Did you hear that? To reach your goals, you must see yourself successful. You must see yourself successful. And when I say that again, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me. You must see yourself successful. You will help yourself march on your goals when you bring out of your storehouse of memories your images of your past successes. Got that? Past successes. So that you see yourself as a successful individual, so that you feel yourself as a successful individual, so that your imagination is live with success pictures. Bring these success images back into your imagination, reconstruct them with tender and loving care, and you may move on to your goals with confidence. We're going to stop there for today, and we'll come back a couple days from now, or maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure. And we will start with achieving your daily victories. In closing, I would like to say, God loves you. I love you. And you should love yourself. So until I see you next time, have a great and wonderful day. Think of your success, your goals, and sit down. Write down what it is you want. Thank you for listening to me, and you have a great day.